Hello students, happy welcome to you all. Already we started the lesson actually, the Vedic culture in the North India and the Megalithic culture in the South India, and we seen up to what is it? Uh, what are the time for which period it belongs to? What's the period it will be called? The detail we see. Is it or not? So now we're going to see about the Aryans and their home in India. Aryans of the Rig Vedic period were semi-nomadic. They were basically pastoral people with cattle as their main source of the wealth. What is it pastoral actually? Cattle rearing. Okay, that's the main source. That's the main source for the Aryans. Okay, in Rig Vedic times, the Aryan homeland was a Punjab. When they entered into our country, no, they settled near to Punjab only. So the homeland will be the Punjab, which was at the time of called the Sapta Sindh, the land of seven rivers. Sapta Sindh will be called, near to seven rivers is there, that all will be called as a Sapta Sindh. There only, this near to that only, they, that particular river only, they settled. Who? Aryans. Around 1000 BC, Aryans in India moved eastward and settled Indo-Gangetic plain. So what is that? First they settled near to the Punjab. After near to the 1000 BC, they moved towards east direction and settled near to the Indo-Gangetic plain. So which are all they settled in Punjab, no, that is a yearly Vedic period. After they settled near to the Indo-Gangetic plain, no, that will be later Vedic period. Like this only the Vedic period was divided into two. One is yearly Vedic period and the later Vedic period. That only you see in this map. This green is a yearly Vedic period near to Punjab. This near to, yellow near to the Ganga, Indo-Gangetic plain. It's a later Vedic period. Okay, and uses of iron axe and the plows become too widespread. What is that? They uses the axe actually and plows. Okay, they use the axe, the plow. What is that? They started to do agriculture. Before agriculture, we want to plow the land, no? So that thing they done actually. Then already I told Vedas. How many Vedas is there? Rig, Yajur, Sama, Atharva. Totally how many Vedas is there? 4. What are that? Rig, Yajur, Sama, Atharva. Very important. 2 mark, 1 mark. Then, so okay, we are getting the details about the Vedic culture, tradition, and everything. From how we are getting this all means from certain sources. That in that first source is Vedic literature. Vedic literature can be classified into two broad categories. So we are getting the source. It's one of the Vedic literature that was divided into two. One is Shruti and Samriti. First one Shruti. What are the things is there means Shrutis comprise the 4 Vedas. So 4 Vedas is there, no, that also will be belongs to Shrutis. The Brahmanas, the Arankayas and the Upanishad, they are all considered scared, eternal and unquestionable truth actually. Certain things are we can't, uh, we will have more question, but it will be like that only. Okay, and something we can't ask question, but it will be happen. So that like that, so much of the things is there that all will be in the Shrutis. Unquestionable truth. Example, God is there or not, we don't know. But believingness is there. We are believing. Is it or not? That's the thing. The Shruti means listening. Once that was transmitted orally through generation. So what is that? Shruti is there, no? That means listening only. So all we are having Upanishad, Vedas, it's all is there, no? It's all listening. By listening only, it will be transmitted to another person. For example, we are reading the lessons, we have the book. After I am teaching also, you can see the book and you can understand. So you have another an option to understand the lesson. But here in Shruti, the particular person who are teaching that particular Upanishad or whatever that know, by that way only they can understand the Shruti. There will be not a written copy or some other option to understand. By listening only they can understand. And that people, next generation want to understand, that means by listening only they can understand, not by a book, not by anything. But we are all learning about the Veda, learning about the Buddhism, learning about the Jainism, everything by the way of book. But here Shruti details was transmitted to next generation, to the next people by the way of listening only. There is no writing evidence. Shruti means listening, ones that were transmitted orally through generation, orally only. Okay, it's all Shruti. Samriti, a body of text containing teaching. Here, written text is there. Okay, the body of text containing teaching on religion, such as Idigasas, Puranas, Tantras, and Agamas. It's all we have the thing, we have the written copy. Okay, the Samriti are not eternal, but when it was started, when it was ended, we don't know. That's only eternal. They are constantly revised actually. Okay, constantly revised, constantly transmitted to next generations and all. Samriti means definite and written literature. Okay, it is a written literature, but Shruti, it's not written literature, but Samriti, it's a written literature. So if you see in this picture means you can understand. Sri Shruti, four Vedas, Brahmanas, Aranyakas, Upanishad, these are all non-written. By listening only we can understand. Nowadays maybe the Vedas also will be in a written copy and everything, but on that day there is no what is the written copy or text. What by listening only a person can listen, like understand that he want to tell to another person means he also want to teach them. They can't written in some other. Okay, in that method only this way it was followed actually. That's only Shruti, four Vedas, Brahmanas, Aranyakas, Upanishad. But if you see in the Samriti means Idigasas, this is there, Puranas, Ramayana Mahabharata, Shiva Purana, Vishnu Purana, Sutras, Dharma Sutra, Manusmriti, Narada Smriti, everything we have the text. Written copy is there. So next generation easily they can learn that. Okay, without the help from any others. But we want to learn about the Shruti means by listening only we can understand. But Samriti, we can understand by the way of text containing datas. Okay, yes. And another one information, national motto Satyameva Jayate. It's a very familiar words we use in the normal life actually. Truth alone trumps. What is that? Truth alone trumps. Vaimiye Vellum in our Tamil. The Tamil Nadu Arasa symbol is there, no? Tamil Nadu government symbol is there, no? In that symbol, if you see means, in English also will be there, in Tamil also will be there. Truth alone trumps. For that, translative will be there. Vaimiye Vellum is there, no? Actually, it's one of the sentence we got from one of the Sanskrit words Satyameva Jayate. It's taken from one of the Upanishad, Mundaka Upanishad. From that only we got this. Okay. Archaeological sources. Material remains such as some other sources. So we see literary sources. Now some other sources. Material remains such as iron implements, pottery from the archaeological sites in Punjab, Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan along to Indus and the Ganges. So here all we have the evidence of the some of the used things. Okay, some tools, some pottery. By that way also we are getting some of the data about the olden people. Okay, so here if you see in this picture means classification of Vedic age. It was divided into two. One is yearly Vedic period, time between 1500 to 1000 BC. Later Vedic period 1000 to 600 BC. Okay, yes, it's all one mark. Understand properly. Next one, polity and society. What is it? Polity and society. The Rigvedic polity was a kingship. Based Kula was a basic unit of the polity. Okay, Rigvedic polity was a kinship. Kingdom is there, no? That's only kingship. Based Kula was a basic unit of the polity. That in the society, Kula is a basic society. It was under a head called a Kulapati. That people's all will be called as a Kulapati. Several families joined together to form a Grama. So if Grama is there means one village is there means number of families is there. Countable families will be there. Okay. The Grama was headed by the Gramani. So Grama, that village will be maintained administration by Gramani. The group of villages called as a Vis. One village is there means Grama, but near to 4 or 5 or 10 Grama is there means that will be called as a Vis. That will be clan, and was headed by Vishayapati. So number of villages will be controlled or administration by Vishayapati. It's all one mark, understand properly. Rajan was the head of Jana tribe for a group of people. For people who will be the head means Rajan, and he was addressed by a Janashaya Gopa. Janashaya Gopa. What's the meaning for that? Guardian for the people, guardian of the people. There were several tribal kingdoms is Rashtra during the Rigvedic period. Bharatas, Matsyas, Puras, several tribal kingdoms. Number of tribal kingdoms are is there. That's only Rashtras. Kingdoms will be called as a Rashtras during Rigvedic period. Some of the examples is there: Bharatas, Matsyas, Puras. Okay. Some of the king's name is there. The main responsibility Rajan. What's the responsibility for the main? Some of the responsibility for the king. What is that? The main responsibility Rajan was to protect the tribe, protect the people. That's the thing. Protect the people. His powers were limited by the tribal assemblies, namely Vidyata, Sabha, Samdhi, and Jnana. His powers were limited by the tribal assemblies, namely Vidyata, Sabha, Samidhi, and Jnana. Okay. So what are the tribes assemblies name? Vidyata, Sabha, Samidhi, Jnana. These are all the assemblies name. Of this, Vidyata, the tribal assembly, was the oldest. In this four, which one is the oldest one means Vidyata. So who is responsible for this all people means Raja for protecting them. Sabha means the council of elders. Samidhi, assembly of people. Okay. So what is that assemblies means? So for example, we have the Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, parliament or assembly. What is that? MLAs all will be gathered, no? Secretariat. So that's like that. Here on olden days, Vidyata, Sabha, Samidhi, Jnana. Okay. Then the king appoint the Prohit, chief priest, to assist him. Next to the king, or giving the guidelines to the king will be appoint one of the person. The name is Prohit, chief priest. In economic, political, and military matters, the king was assisted by the Senai. For every department, separate head will be there. That will be called as a what is that? For economic, political, and military matters, the king was assisted by the Senai, army chief. He will be administrated that particular departments all. Gramani was the leader of the village. Already we know. Who is the head for the village? Gramani. When the Aryans moved eastward to the Gangas, Yamuna, Doaba region, the early settlements were replaced by territorial kingdoms. Hereditary kings began to emerge in the monarchical form of government. The power of the king increased and performed various rituals and sacrifices to make his position strong. When the Aryans are moved to Indo-Gangetic plains, the early settlements were replaced by territorial kings. They settled after it was changed into kingdoms actually. Into kingdoms. Hereditary kingship began to emerge. Hereditary. For example, one king is there, now one of the person is a king means next king will be from their families only. So this is hereditary. In monarchical form of government, the power of the king increased and he performed various rituals, sacrifices to make his position strong. So day by day, the powers of the king was increased day by day. For making their power, to making a strong position, they done some pujas, that's only various rituals and sacrifices. Goat sacrificing or buffalo sacrificing, it's all happened in olden days. For what they will do, this all means to making their position strong. Okay. So today it's enough actually. So remaining next class we can see social organization. So this one paragraph alone we can see. Many janas or tribes were amalgamated from Janapadas or Rashtras. Janas and tribes all divided into Janapadas or Rashtras in later Vedic period. It's all happened in a later Vedic period. Amalgamated form Janapadas or Rashtras. The importance of the Samidhi and Sabha diminished and the Vidyata completely disappeared. So we have the Sabhas, Vidyata, Sabha, Samidhi and Jnana. That all was the importance of Samidhi and Sabha diminished and the Vidyata completely disappeared. Only the given importance for Samidhi and Sabha alone, Vidyata they not given important. Okay. New states emerged, new kingdoms are emerged, started. Bali was a voluntary contribution of the people to the king. What is Bali? Is there, we will see that. It's one of the kind of tax. In the later Vedic period, Bali was treated as a tax and collected regularly. The Kuru and the Panchala kingdoms flourished in large cities like Ayodhya, Indraprastha, Mathura also emerged during this period. So the Kuru and the Panchala is one of the kingdom In that kingdoms only we have some important cities: Ayodhya, Indraprastha, Mathura, also enriched the kingdoms actually. Okay, so what is a Pali actually? Pali is one of the tax, one of the tax actually. Pali is one of the tax, especially the tax will be getting based on the land actually, based on the land. See, the tax consisting of 1 by 6 of the agriculture produce cattle for a or cattle for a person. In by doing the agriculture, you are producing, no, in that 1 by 6 you want to give to the government, or in the cattle, based on the cattle also you want to give that percentage to the government. Okay, that's it. What is a Bali means? A tax consisting of 1 by 6 of the agriculture produce or cattle for a person. Production from the cattle or production from the agriculture. 1 by 6 you want to give for the government as a tax. The tax name will be called as a Bali. Okay. Okay. So enough today. So remaining things we can see in next class. Okay. Finish your work on time and send it properly. Stay safe. Stay home. Thank you.